Hello folks, Major Gosnell here, and this is going to be episode 14 of my Stationeers playthrough. Now, the last time that you'd left, I had set up the automatic lights that switch on when the broom hits turret depressurization in the airlock. So, today we're going to be focusing on heating and cooling, and how to maintain a pleasant little temperature within your base. So, what I've spent most of yesterday doing was trying to set this up, and it failed miserably. So I had to redesign all my piping and figure out how to use radiators, and now hopefully I think I've got it nailed. So you'll notice here I've got the vent. This is the pressurization vent that's feeding from my furnace. Here is the wall heater, which is currently on because our temperature is at minus 5.4. Hopefully that should go up in the next few moments, I think. Yeah, it's going up a little bit. So here we have a passive vent, which is linked up to a cooler, and the cooler has a gas sensor over it. Now, we are going to run out here, and I'm going to show you behind the actual room, and show you how all this shit works. So, we're going to run out here. Come on, there we go. So, you'll remember the horrible mess of pipes and wires that used to be here. I decided to fix that and make things a little cleaner and a little clearer. So I've now expanded it a little bit, added a couple of extra blocks here, and I've also made the pipe work a lot cleaner and a lot smoother. And I've also did a little bypass on filtering. So first thing I'm going to show you is how all these wires and stuff are connected up. Okay, now over here, this little box here, though you're not going to read out on it at the moment, is the cooler. That cooler is sucking the air out of the room through this pipe and into the CO2 filter. So I'm actually doing two jobs in one here. I'm circulating the warm air out of the pipe here, out through this pipe here. It's filtering out the CO2 that you'll generate by breathing, pumping the rest of the oxygen through this pipe, which has 4 radiators on it, which should lower the temperature that the room is at, coming through this pipe, up here again, and out this passive vent, which leads back inside the room. Then, over here, you have the vent that's leading from the furnace, leading into the active vent, and this box here is the wall heater. The wall heater only requires electricity, nothing else. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. I've set up a logic system that will tell the heater to switch on if the room is below a certain temperature, and it will tell the cooler to switch on if the room is over a certain temperature. So, if you look here, we have a very similar system on this side to how I've set up all my other electronics: memory chip, batch writer, compare unit, logic reader. Again, memory, compare unit, logic reader, batch writer. It's doing the exact same job, just the wiring is laid out differently. It'll still do exactly how the other one does. Now, forgive me for actually coughing. So, here we have that little block there, but you'll notice that I've put an extra compare unit and an extra batch writer on the side of this network. And that is so that we can actually operate 2 systems on the same line, pretty much. So I'm just going to show you what the settings are on all these writers and readers and memory, so that you know how to set it up. So, using your screwdriver, first thing you're going to want to go to is your memory. And you're going to want to set your memory to the temperature that the gas sensor, to set the memory at the level that you want the heating and the cooling to switch on at. So basically, it's at 293 at the moment. Why 293? Because the game is funny like that. On your suit display in the top right, you'll notice it says 19.8 C, Celsius. However, the gas sensor only detects the temperature in Kelvin, which means that if you put in 20 C here, the cooler is going to be on non-stop, which is a bit of a problem. So when you're setting the memory, be sure to set it to Kelvin, how many degrees in Kelvin that you want, as opposed to Celsius. So 293 is equivalent to 20 Celsius. A quick Google search can give you exact figures if you're unsure. So the memory is set up there, and that's leading up into these two compare units. So the first logic reader up here is reading the gas sensor that is here. And it's reading the temperature on the gas sensor. So see here it says gas sensor heating, and down here, logic reader is reading temperature. So, with it reading the temperature, it's then feeding down into the compare unit here and the compare unit here. So it's telling the inputs that it's reading from the logic reader the temperature of the gas sensor. The other side of the compare units are reading from the memory. So the 293 is coming in on the inputs on the other side. It's then being told on this side if it's less, so if the gas sensor is reading less than the memory, to switch on the heater in the batch writer down here. And on this side, it's telling it if it's greater than the memory to switch on the cooler on this side. Now there is maybe more efficient ways of doing this, because technically with 1 degree of variation it's going to be sort of always switching on, switching off. Might be using a little extra power. That is something to bear in mind. So this isn't called Genius Guide to Stationeers by any measure. So yeah, that's basically how you set up your logic chips. So you have one mat unit doing less than, and one doing greater than. The less than is telling the heater to switch on, the greater than is telling the cooler to switch on. And that way, if the room hits 20 say the room is under 20 Celsius or 293 Kelvin, the sensor will switch on, and the sensor will pick it up, and then the heater will switch on and heat the room to 20 centigrade. But if it goes over, then the cooler will switch on, feed the warm air out of this pipe down here into the filter. It'll filter out the CO2, which is just saving me a little extra pipe work there. The waste, not the waste, the CO2 is being pumped out of a passive vent down here. And the oxygen is filtering through these, going through this pipe on underneath these radiators, which will cool the pipe down, hopefully. Lead it up through here and in through the passive vent and back into the base. Now we are going to check one little thing here. Just going to see if we have a reader here. We do not. We do have here, however. Do we have battery power? I think we do. Yep, we do. So what we're going to do, we're going to put in a atmosphere analyzer. E, drop the screwdriver, put that there. E again, or we need to change the battery in that actually. So let's just run around here and grab an extra battery, and we're going to check the temperature in the pipes. Let me see where we are. My batteries are here, aren't they? So we're going to take a battery there, and take that. E, yep. E again. Jesus, this is tricky as hell. Okay, gonna run over here. Let's see again. Oh shit! And Jesus Christ, I just fell down a hole. That could have ended badly. Right, so that should be on. Atmosphere analyzer is working. Now we're gonna read these pipes here. So let's read this one first. So the temperature is at -2 centigrade. -2 out here. And can we get to that pipe there? Can we read this pipe? Ah, because there's nothing in this pipe yet. Because it's not actually warm enough to initiate the cooler. So we're going to come around here and just make sure the heater is on. So cycle to interior. I've also pressurized the base considerably more. So it's actually a lot smoother now. Cancel level, can't bother waiting. So there we go, and the temperature is now at -1.4. So what I'm thinking I might do here, I'm going to do a little jump cut, and we're going to see if the cooler is going to work once the room hits 20 centigrade. So bear with me a few minutes. Well, basically 1 second on the video, I suppose. and we'll find out if this cooler will actually do its job. Welcome back. So we've waited about half an hour and the room should be close to fully heated now, and the cooler should switch on, hopefully. Now, while I was waiting, I attempted to place a wall sign saying "Welcome to Layman's Station," but yeah, the iron frame, when you delete it, drops the sign because it's not attached to anything. So I'm going to be wondering how the hell I'm going to place any signs inside of my steel-framed base. This is going to be a problem for another day, I think, though. So that was going to say "Welcome to Layman's Station" in big writing, but yeah. So anyway, back to what I was doing. We are going to go into the airlock here, and we are going to see if the temperature is close to where we want it to be. Oh, we're actually pretty much right on time as well. We're just 1 degree out, so just gonna wait for that to pressurize fully. Cooler should actually be switching on any second now. So there we go. Now when that hits 20, hopefully this cooler should switch on. And it did. So it's maintaining. And that is super efficient, actually. Let's see if it'll go over 20. This could be interesting now. It is actually maintaining the pressure very, very nicely at a steady 20 degrees. That has actually worked beautifully well. So that is how you now make a heated and cooled room. Next thing I'll be working on will probably be temperature controls, so you can set the sort of degrees that you want if you want to increase the heating, lower it, etc. And before I finish this video, I want to show you one little thing. So I noticed there's a big crater behind my this room here, and I've decided I'm going to do something beautiful with it. We just come around here. There we go. So I'm going to build my hydroponics room in a glass room, glass floors, glass ceilings, as much as I can, accounting for pipes and wiring. If I can, I'm going to fill the crater full of water and have it lit up from underneath with colored lights. It should look pretty goddamn good when it's done, if it works the way I intend it to work. Notice this, I saw this happening in my craters lately. It's like ground is forming. I think one of the patches screwed up the placement or something. So this was actually mined out, and yeah, it seems to be appearing. But anyway, aside from that, I'm hoping to fill in this crater with water, lights, and a big huge glass house directly over it. Hopefully it should look really, really good, and should be fabulous. The last thing I'm going to do before I go, if anybody wants to screenshot my electronic setup, there you go. You have about 2 seconds to take your screenshot there now. And that's the basic setup for heating and cooling. And again, if you want to take a screenshot here, you have on this side, cooler, gas sensor, passive vent connected to the cooler, and then you have your oxygen intake over here, or sorry, oxygen output. That's coming from my gas storage, and the heater is here. So that's effectively the heating and cooling of the base. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, hope to see you on the next episode.